Hi everyone, this is Mary from the European Pain Federation EFIC. Today I'm joined by 3 representatives from the IMI-PainCare Research Consortium to discuss one of the sub-projects called TRIPP. So Bianca, Jane, Katie, thank you for all agreeing to be interviewed and taking time out of your Friday for this. Could you start by introducing yourselves, please? And we'll start with Bianca.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So I'm Bianca De Leo. I am a preclinical pharmacologist based in Berlin and working for Bayer AG. And I'm the work package leader for one of the preclinical packages of TRIPP.
Great. And Jane?
I'm Jane Maylink. I'm chairman of the International Painful Bladder Foundation, or IPBF. And I'm an international patient advocate. And I represent the interstitial cystitis bladder pain syndrome patients in the IMI-PainCare Research Consortium.
Great. And Katie?
Hi everyone, I'm Katie Vincent. I'm an academic gynecologist in Oxford and I am co-leading the TRIPP sub-project with Jens Nagel from Bayer.
Great. So Bianca, can you start off by briefly telling us about the TRIPP project?
Sure. First of all, what I would like to say is to show what TRIPP actually stands for. It's the acronym, so means Translational Research in Pelvic Pain. And the aim that we have is to improve translation and back translation from clinical findings to animal or laboratory models for the endometriosis associated pain and the bladder pain syndrome and interstitial cystitis pain. And what we would another thing that I want to share with you is maybe an example of how we are aiming to do that. And first of all is to find biomarker profiles and pain relevant system perturbation in patients, which would allow to have a further patient stratification for future treatment response exploration in the future. And of course, the preclinical part is very important because with having this package from the clinical results, we would be able to implement and do a robust refinement of our animal model on hands.
Great. And Jane, in your view, how may TRIPP help clinicians and patients with pain in the future?
Well, hopefully it will help to guide research and development in the right directions based on phenotypes, thereby leading to the right treatment for the individual patient and, of course, better use of resources and less wastage. I do hope that it will also raise awareness of the complexity of these diseases. And certainly, ICBPS has been grossly oversimplified in recent years, with an attempt to transform it from a urological bladder disease with a triad of symptoms, including pain, into a pain-only disease. And this has proven to be a disaster for both research and treatment.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Jane. And Katie, what are the next steps in the TRIPP project to bring it forward?
So I think this is a really exciting time in the TRIPP project. It's taken us quite a long time to get here for various reasons that always happen in large studies and compounded obviously by the COVID pandemic. And so we now have quite a large set of data which we've only begun to delve into. We had a meeting this week where we shared our initial clinical findings with the preclinical teams, and so the next step there is for the preclinical teams to take that forward and decide how they're going to prioritize the next steps of their work. And for us is to start to sort of really refine our analyses to decide what are the most important pieces of information that we would like to communicate out both to researchers and clinicians and also patients, as Jane says, because that's the important aim of our project is to improve care for patients.
Great. So finally, the last question. So this is for all 3 of you to answer. In one sentence, what would you like future researchers to say about the impact of your work? So it's a hard question. 1 sentence only. If we start with Bianca.
Yeah, I can do that. So I can, since I'm also coming, from the preclinical, side of our TRIPP. So I really would like, to hear this future scientists to say that thanks to TRIPP and IMI-PainCare, we were able to have a robust model to study, or models to study the endometrial associated pain and IBS. And also been having, that in a multi-center approach, because this is something that we really need for, closing the gap for the drug development between the translation and back translation, so human and animal models. So that's my dream and aim to be achieved.
Great. And Jane, your one sentence?
Well, I would like to think that the researchers, clinicians and pharma companies have been made aware of the real disease with its real symptoms as experienced by real patients, and not simply a concept based on some theory or ideology.
Great. And Katie, your one sentence?
So I'd really like to hope that researchers and clinicians and patients too think that we have altered the way that these conditions are thought of, and also raise their awareness, particularly within the pain community rather than just within the gynecology and urology community, such that ultimately more funding goes into these areas with better patient benefit in the end.
Oh, brilliant. That was a great overview into the project. So thank you all again for the interview, for explaining TRIPP, and best of luck with the next steps in the project.